All right. Hey, hey. Hi, guys. Welcome back. Let's go ahead and jump on in. I'm going to take a look at a love message here, and we shall see what comes of this. I feel like everything's strangely bogged down right now. I don't know if everything is buffering, but I see a weird little lag time on my end. All right, we start with the King of Cups. That King of Cups is the energy of great love. Um, I feel like somebody wants to express how they feel. He's not afraid of it either. Hi, guys. So great to see everyone tonight. Um, I don't see him worried. I don't see him fearful. Six of Swords, Death card. If anything, we have a very bold, divine masculine here, possibly. One who's healed, one who's done the work that he needed to for himself so that he could, feel empowered, one who's changed his perspective on life, possibly also. When we heal ourselves, sometimes that's when we become more bold. We become, like things that used to scare us don't scare us anymore. Sharing emotions, for example. And I would say that he is somebody who is definitely not afraid to share his emotions at this point, anyway, in his life. That's fabulous. Okay, so do you have someone that specifically that you'd like to share emotions with? Seven of Cups. Yes, he does. Now, in this storyline, it shows us that there have been a lot of different ways that this love story could evolve, right? But ultimately, at this point anyway, and I'm thinking these two might have known each other for maybe even years prior to now, and perhaps they were never quite on the same page. Maybe they never envisioned, you know, um, connecting or having this conversation. Maybe they never considered it in the same way until now. Two people are looking into the same exact future, right? And it's kind of like they're scrying or looking into, like any reflective surface can be considered something that you could use for scrying, whether it's a mirror or a piece of obsidian or a bowl of water or a crystal ball. But it looks like the two of them share the same the same idea. I became Sean Connery there for a second. The same idea of what they'd like the future to look like. Now, it may be that he has, since he's our lead character in this, he is the one who's done some healing. He's the one who's made some alterations. His vision of things is different. So maybe he now shares her vision of what, a union would look like or what a future might look like. So they're basically on the same page at this point. Okay. So he's definitely gone through some pretty big transformations. This is lovely, just lovely. He's in emperor mode. An emperor knows what he wants. An emperor they don't shy away from what they want. They're not shy at all, typically. Emperors go after the thing that they believe to be important to them with confidence. We keep seeing him as dark-haired and possibly bearded, by the way. And all the times we keep seeing him, he's showing up the same way. 10 of Pentacles and the 5 of Cups in the reverse. You know what I love about him? One of the things that he sees as the most important is I would want to grow and build and be a part of a union. I want to, create a life together with, in this case, with my feminine. And the last thing on earth I'd ever want to do is make her cry. That's, what kind of an emperor makes their woman cry? Nobody. No good emperor does that. So he's like, oh my God, you would never do that to your lady. You would stand beside her. You would build an empire together. You would share your wealth. You would share the sorrows and the triumphs. But the one thing you'd never do is do something to hurt or harm or make your partner cry. Okay. I don't, who did he used to be? Because he sounds like a freaking catch now. But who did you used to be? Because I'm thinking since you have that death card, maybe that wasn't entirely who you were. We have the 7 of Cups. Once upon a time, he was confused. Once upon a time, he didn't see the future the same way. He didn't maybe put the same value in things that seem so clear to him now. Queen of Pentacles. Once upon a time, he was confused about whether or not he wanted to have a deep investment with somebody. We have the Devil. And there's a couple of options here. Once upon a time, he didn't know maybe if he was cut out for like being committed to just one person. So what is it that's changed? We know he's healed, but what is it specifically that has changed inside of him that would make him go from someone who was like, look, I don't know that I have what it takes to be even faithful maybe to one person, because I got this like lusty little devil vibe, and I want everybody to want me. I don't know that I would be able to give to just one person. What has changed in him? We have an 8 of Swords. There's some kind of like very stagnated energy that he dealt with. Ace of Swords in the reverse. Oh, so he went down to the bottom of the barrel. Okay, so something about the way he was living his life, this lack of clarity, it wound up taking a toll on him. I think he got more and more lost, more and more stuck. Let me just ask about that Devil card. What were you doing? What were you doing? We've got the Knight of Swords. He was kind of impulsive. He might have been doing whatever the heck struck his fancy whenever. 2 of Wands, super indecisive. I feel like he just had no direction in the past. No direction at all. And then that lack of direction got him really far off track. Why? Is it because you did meet a Queen of Pentacles and you're like, wow, she's really stable. It's very clear what she's offering. And I don't know that I could do that. In fact, I'm more scattered, more, kind of like blown by any direction the wind goes than ever. But then somehow he just got completely lost. I mean, I don't even know if he knew up from down. And then we got that Star card sideways. I think that this chaos energy around him really stopped being fun. If it was ever fun, it wasn't fun anymore. It does have a bit of like the vibe of, I don't know. Well, Wheel of Fortune in the reverse. He got himself stuck in a lifestyle and nothing was even fun anymore. It was just wasted time. You know what I kind of feel like in this? I feel like maybe once upon a time it was easy come, easy go when it came to romances. You might have flirted, dated a ton. Then he meets this Queen of Pentacles and he's like, oh God, I don't know if I could really do like a long-term relationship. I tend to like to, roam about. The only thing is I don't think that he was meeting anybody else after that. I think something like broke. If he was expecting to revert back to his just kind of like easy come, easy go kind of ways, because he met that Queen of Pentacles, and he saw like a different pathway. I almost think that basically ruined his, like the games that he used to enjoy playing. If he was toxic, if he was always, just kind of out to get people to pay attention to him, I don't think it mattered anymore if other people were paying attention to him after he met that Queen of Pentacles. All of a sudden, he's stuck in his head, doesn't quite know what to do. His usual whatever distraction methods aren't working. He can't figure out what to do. I feel like he kind of got himself into like a swirling little, round and round and round in his head, which is not particularly a fun place to be. With that star, tell me what the star represented for him, because I'm guessing that has a lot to do with that. That Queen of Pentacles. He realized he met somebody that was 100% the real deal at 2 of Cups. Maybe he didn't expect that could happen to him. Maybe he didn't know what a 2 of Cups was. He didn't know what love felt like. But I don't think that he's been able to move on. I don't even think he's been able to carry on with, random, kind of like empty dating where it's all geared at, tell me I'm special. Everybody tell me I'm special. Everybody clap for me. I feel like that's more what the devil energy was. Because if you look, it's just he needed to be wanted, celebrated by many. He didn't think that having one person who cared about him one person that was really high quality, one person that wasn't toxic. He didn't see how would that fit into my routine. My routine is everybody, I make everybody want me and they like celebrate me, and that's how it's supposed to be. But she's not playing. And now I can't get her out of my head. And now I can't seem to let her go. So none of this is working for me anymore. Oh, Samanita, thank you so much. Sweet dreams, honey. Thank you. It's all because in this storyline, when you meet something real, someone real, it's really hard to unsee that when there's something real. It may have been that he met somebody that was like, you know, that Queen of Pentacles was a 1 in a billion, and he knows it. He did fall in love, but man, did he do everything he could to block it. If this is something where it's like, okay, this doesn't work anymore. The way I've been living doesn't work anymore. I can't do what I've been doing. Now, oh my God, I want to grow up. I want to become an emperor. What was the shifting moment? Because we know he went through all these changes. We see that. What was I'll say the biggest catalyst? King of Cups. Again, it has to do with love. It's like he realized he's in love. And I'm assuming that you're in love with that Queen of Pentacles. Ace of Cups, 8 of Swords. He is so stuck on her, madly in love with her. He can't, that's where he's been stuck. So ever since he met that Queen of Pentacles, I don't think he's ever moved on from her. I don't know if he possibly could. He genuinely fell in love with somebody. I hope you didn't do her dirty. I don't know about that bit yet. The Empress. No, it doesn't look like it. This almost looks like one of those stories where, you know, maybe he was one of those people who thought I'd be a player my whole life. That's how I like it. And then he meets her and it's like, what do? I can't stop thinking about her. I mean, this could have played out over the span of a week and a half. He meets her and then it's like, okay, this is not typical for me. All of a sudden, I want to be better in her eyes in particular. All of a sudden, he's the one who wants a long-term relationship. He can't stop thinking about that with her. He's fallen in love with her, plain and simple. He wants to be an emperor so he can have an empress. He wants a long-term relationship. Is this very, very, very new for you, King of Cups? Because I'm thinking, yeah, Hermit. I actually think he's had a pretty lonely life. I feel like, you know, any kind of attraction was very superficial, very, very, very superficial. That's probably the other reason the devil was there. It's like, you know, he wasn't really like, I don't think his heart was ever touched by anyone, but I also think he'd been kind of a bit of a loner. 10 of Wands. He wants to come in from the stormy seas. He does not want to be the loner anymore. So with that in mind, then, I mean, you have this idea that this Queen of Pentacles is your empress, that she is somebody that you're in love with. We have the 5 of Wands. Yep. And now they're thinking about if they kind of started to play a game with her or thought that they were going to play a game. And I say that because we got 2, you know, soccer players on opposing teams. It's like, okay, I was playing a weird game when I first met her. I intended to play my game, the game I play with everybody, but I can't play it with her because I actually love her. There's the devil. Is she going to be able to look at me as something other than the devil? There could be a little piece of him that's afraid, what if she's going to play me? What if I'm head over heels in love with her? And oh my God, wouldn't it be fitting if it turns out she's going to mess with my head and my heart now that I'm so serious about her? Wheel of Fortune, 8 of Cups. That Queen of Pentacles is not playing any kind of games. That Queen of Pentacles doesn't handle games or devil energy in any way, shape, or form. It's funny how we see him have that quiver of fear. Like, God, what if What if she now has the power to hurt me? What if she plays mind games with me? What if she doesn't really love me? Here I am head over heels in love with her, wanting to change my whole like MO. And what if I now give her all the power and she can hurt me if she's toxic? But I think just as quickly he has to realize, nah, that Queen of Pentacles, she's the kind who will let me go if I don't straighten up and fly right and offer her something. In fact, she probably already did walk away from him, would be my guess, with that Eight of Cups. Anybody who's playing games is not going to walk away from you because they don't like your games. You know, they're going to keep engaging. They're going to enjoy the weird cat and mouse. She's not messing around, and he knows that. If anything, her face looks pretty strained here. Like, geez, why would it have gone this way? Why would you play stupid games with precious time? You know, it almost feels more like he already knows that Queen of Pentacles is not somebody who messes about, because I think she's got a pretty, like, everything about her looks pretty straightforward, pretty clear, you know. Even she doesn't have really makeup on. She's just kind of like exactly the expression on her face, the emotions, everything is like point blank with her. I kind of feel like with this Wheel of Fortune being here and this Jar of Dreams, he knows better than to start freaking out. Oh God, what if she's going to mess with me? The only person who's ever messed about was you. And I understand that that's why you'd be afraid that she might have the capacity to mess with you as well, because that was your behavior. So you can comprehend what that's like. Somebody who plays meaningless games because you did that. Supposedly you're beyond it, but you're kind of scared. What if she messes with you, even though you know better? Look, the Wheel of Fortune says it is time to just simply do better. We have the World. It's a new beginning. And that Queen of Pentacles definitely represents a new beginning for him. Now, there's nothing here to say that she's going to, welcome him into her world. But it does say this whole story, remember, was his story. It was a divine masculine making some pretty significant transformations, opening up his own heart, getting to the point where he doesn't want to be the person he's been before, because instead of saying nothing really matters, it's all just game playing, it's all superficial, turns out it's not just game playing and it's not superficial. There's a depth of emotion. I'd say this Queen of Pentacles changed his life, like in a literal sense, changed how he views love, relationship, all of it. So this is no small thing. This is a definitely new beginning for him. Now, if that Queen of Pentacles already walked away from him, and from what we can tell, I think that she did because of that Eight of Cups, what does that mean? Where is she at right now? Hey guys, great to see you. We've got the 10 of Thoughts. So the 10 of Swords here. This feels like she's done with this. This is, 10 of Swords is, I'm over it. I'm very, very, very over it. Curiosity of Thoughts. I'm over it. I'm still trying to figure it out, though. This is her trying to gather, information about something. This is her trying to gather, like knowledge about why did this even play out this way? And again, with that Eight of Cups for her. Sometimes we get to the point where we go, I can't figure it out. It just is what it is. And I'll just leave this alone. I'll just walk away from this. It is what it is, but I'll just walk away from it because I don't know that I can figure this out. How do you get in somebody else's head? How do you figure out what they were up to? She kind of just turns her attention to her own life with that Eight of Pentacles. There's something here about, like, she may be very spiritual. She may be somebody who heals by being in nature specifically. She may lean on, like her spirit guides or something. She may pour herself into something artistic like we see here, something to just clear her mind. So I don't see her like clinging to the idea that, oh, I think they're coming back, or it's almost like she's washed her hands of this, because what else do you do when it doesn't make a lick of sense? Let me just ask, Queen of Pentacles, what was your impression of them? We've got the Hanged Man, and it is sideways. I feel like, this is like, I've looked at it from different perspectives, but I don't want this to be something that it becomes a major stumbling block from me. Trying to learn about a situation, or trying to learn about yourself and who you were in a situation, that's all well and good, but I don't want this to become a major stumbling block in my life. Four of Pentacles. Yeah, everything here keeps saying that she's like, if I hold on to this and obsess over this, this is no good for me. He apparently held back from me, didn't know what he was doing, didn't know what he wanted, was unable to make decisions. Everything here, when I say, what did she think of him? It's kind of like, I don't know how to interpret somebody else's behavior other than to say they held back, they couldn't make decisions. So, if I overthink this, then I'm going to be stuck in the mud. And we've got the Ace of Pentacles sideways. Again, she's just saying it's impossible to know what he wanted, because if he doesn't know what he wants, I mean, he could change anything at any point in time, but who's to say anybody wants to change? Maybe people are happy that where they are, who they are, being who they are. Who am I to say that his actions, his behavior is not making him happy, or that he should change anything? Maybe he's just right exactly how he is. All I can say is I got to let him go. Like, that's, I can understand that, because a Queen of Pentacles is not going to keep trying to like insist like, no, there's no way that this could be right. You must actually be unhappy. You must want to change. You must want to do things different. I love the fact that she didn't try to insist that. She just kind of said, I have to accept that the actions he took must have been the things that he wanted to do. So if he wasn't very serious about me, didn't know what he wanted, didn't want to lock anything down with me, then I'm going to assume he didn't want to. End of story. What more is there for me to think? So I feel like this is not exactly easy come, easy go, but this is definitely like she's determined not to let it be the focal point of her life, trying to figure out why he did what he did. That's great, actually, I think. All right, so universe, you want to weigh in here at the end. Universe says there's a lot of love, okay, and that we have a cup overflowing with love at this point. Love has the power to change a lot of things, right? Is that Climby Fisher? Love changes everything. Yeah, I always thought it was Rod Stewart, but I think it's Climby Fisher. I think it's like a one-hit wonder. Love changes everything. Love breaks the rules. 80s track, right? We got a Four of Cups. The universe is laying it out plain and simple. All right, this was love, and there's a big old regret, because she's a mermaid. She's like a 1 in a billion mythical creature. Maybe that's even why I went with like a one-hit wonder song. This is a once in a lifetime opportunity for him to meet somebody that he's going to feel this way about. And obviously, if he blew it with her, there's a lot to regret. There's definitely, this has been all fouled up. This is not the way it was supposed to go. So we got a 10 of Wands and we got the 7 of Pentacles, both sideways. The universe is like, so what you going to do about it? How do you course correct something that was a mistake? And how much longer are you going to, we've got that 7 of Pentacles, which can be for me anytime from like 7 days to 7 months or 7 years. It all depends. Sometimes it's like a lot happens suddenly after a long period of time. Whether or not these two had like a chunk of time where they only knew each other for like 7 days and then were apart for 7 months, but this whole thing has played out over this span of time. Sometimes it takes a long time to have an awakening. Sometimes the most meaningful connections in our life can be people that we have a very brief interaction with, but the impact of that interaction that plays out in our life over a huge amount of time. That's the way I would describe this, maybe, because I don't see this huge process that he's gone through happening overnight, but it does feel like he didn't She didn't put up with him for very long. I think that this Queen of Pentacles cut him out quite early on. A queen doesn't tolerate nonsense. We got a lot of sevens in this, right? We've had the Seven of Cups a couple different times. I think somebody up there was like, why is it 7 days? It may not be, but it's sevens keep showing up. The impression that I get is that they had a brief amount of time together, but the impact has been huge. And the overall play out of this has happened over an extended amount of time, especially because this gives us greater length of time. And I think the universe in this fictional story is saying there's a lot of love, there's a lot of freaking regret because you screwed this one up royally, and you've been thinking for a long time about this royal screw up, which gets heavier and heavier a burden to bear, but it also takes time before you figure out, so what are you going to do to fix it? What's the benefit of making a mistake? We can learn from it. And I feel like that's what this is. I think we have the High Priestess upright. That High Priestess energy is all about like the intuition. I don't really think that this is going to be a surprise, maybe to either of them deep down. I know the crazy part with the High Priestess is that we could say, what? I didn't see this coming. But then there's that weird, subtle thing where it's like, no, I didn't see it coming, but there's some part of me that I'm not really surprised that something that really felt like it could have mattered a great deal actually did. Is not really a shocker, you know? Even though it still might be a surprise on one hand, it's not that big of a shocker after all. I don't know how else to describe that. We got a Five of Cups sideways. This was very much, you know what I would say? Even for the Queen of Pentacles, it was like, I can't quite believe that this would be the way it would end, that this person plays games, but we had a chance at something real. And yet it's like, they really didn't see this as important. I mean, how is that possible? Well, it's not possible. It was important. It was always important. It was the most important relationship that's ever like graced his life, is what it says here. She is very, very special. And they both know this. They both know that this was a really special kind of once in a lifetime opportunity. So the idea that it's like, really, this is the way this ends, we never talk again. Even the universe is like, nah, that it can't actually end that way, and it's not going to. But it sure has taken its own sweet time, you know, to come full circle and be like, whoa, no way. This has to be course corrected. I love this person. This is no way to leave things. This is no way to behave. All of a sudden, or I shouldn't say all of a sudden, because I don't think this came on swiftly. I think this big transformation, all of this has actually been slow. But at this point, he's arrived. At this point, this is a different person that we're talking to now. This is a King of Cups. This is somebody whose heart has shifted. This is somebody whose energy has opened up. This is somebody who wants a completely different thing in their life now. And sitting in this regret, knowing that she's the one they can't forget, that's actually been good. You know, the reason regret is a good thing is because it tells us when we know we effed up. And we can either choose to keep ignoring it and try to pretend that we can, you know, just like not be responsible for our errors of judgment, or we can say, in my lifetime, I must fix this because I can't carry this kind of a regret. It'll go with me lifetime after lifetime. That's how we end up with karma and karmic cycles. Thankfully, we don't have characters willing to sit and stew in this any longer, or at least on his part, he can't leave this the way it's been, not any longer. He knows better now. So he's actually going to do better now. I wish these two luck. Again, this was his story. It was about him waking up. It was about him seeing things from a different perspective. So he's in that action taking energy now. I don't know what he's going to, you know, how he's going to get this Queen of Pentacles back into his life, only to say an emperor's probably not going to, you know, send a text. That an emperor is going to show up and keep showing up An emperor is going to win her heart back. An emperor is going to put in everything he's got, because it's like, this is not possible for me to have botched this so bad, and then I can never course correct it. I can't let that be the case. I definitely think that, because I'm hearing Sturgill Simpson in my head right now, that song, The Promise. I think When in Rome was the originator of that song, which I love that version of it too. But Sturgill Simpson does a great cover of it. I'm sorry, but I'm just thinking of the right words to say. I know they don't sound the way I planned them to be, but if you wait around a while, I'll make you fall for me. I promise you I will. Anyway, that's what we've got. All right, you guys, thank you so much for being here. Really nice to see everybody tonight with Juno Wild, Nat Nats, RS, Tammy Johnson, NC42. Hi, Stephanie, Ginger Montague. My pleasure, Ginger. Thank you for popping in. Hey, Chris, Brooklyn, wonderful to see you. You're so sweet. Thank you. Rachel's Magic. Hi, baby. Hannah, how are you? Wonderful to see you, love. Calm Sea.